really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand knob, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the bike.
Hopefully I'm all good, guys. I rolled over something.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
That's the project branding logo that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand knob, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the bike.
Hopefully I'm all good, guys. I rolled over something.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
That's the project branding logo that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand knob, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the bike.
Hopefully I'm all good, guys. I rolled over something.
Alright, boys, this might be the last mile of the run. We'll get to it.
El mundo quiere dinero.
Yeah, I know.
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
That's the project branding logo that's on here.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar.
Really cool. And we're also gonna change the kickstand knob, guys. Alright, let's take a quick look at the bike.
Hopefully I'm all good, guys. I rolled over something.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another Freestyle Sunday. Super excited for this one. We got our boy Zack from WhyNotRide, guys. Very excited for tonight's conversation. This kid is on fire. Okay, originally out of PA and moved out to Florida. He is bringing the heat on Instagram, and everyone know who he is. He's the connect, and we got him on tonight, so that's gonna be really dope. Just kind of hear his story, all about how he got into biking and crashes, pretty much the overall thing. Him partnering with multiple people, very exciting. To be honest, he's actually one of the first people to made me feel like it's time for me to get back into the Instagram game, and he's actually inspired me quite a bit as I go through his feed and seeing some of his fun antics and basically feeding people all about Cowie, the life of a Cowie writer. Also, we have something really cool to kind of show you guys, by the way. We have the garages back in the building. We're going to be showing you guys the layout. For now, you can see the Street Fighters on the left, Cowie in the middle, Hyper on the right, and then my favorite, the Monsters, flush to the right, boys. We're slowly going to be getting back to the garage, and as you know, we have that second feed so we can kind of show you guys what it's all about. More bikes are coming into the garage. You guys know the deal. Dropping content 3 times a week on YouTube. 3 shorts also from Monday to Thursday, and then Friday to Sunday is full form videos, and then Sunday live stream. All right, we're gonna do what we do best. We're gonna greet every single person that's on the stream early on. That's one of the benefit of being here early, guys. You get to be greeted properly. You know what I mean? Because we like to show love and support for the people that comes through and show us love in the beginning, and that's important to me. Oh man, very excited, man, to actually have everyone on here, to be honest. Let's see here. Just gonna pull up everybody really quickly, and then we're gonna bring out Zack. All right, there we go. We have a couple of familiar faces as usual, guys. Let's see. Oh, man, we have a lot of people early on here, man. Really, really like that. We have Sasong Moto Vlog, right? Sasong Moto's in the building. Good evening, Bike Fam. ClutchFirst, you missed a dope time in Miami. Yeah, man, I heard it was amazing in the same space. I heard there was some chaos over there. Some people got hurt, so maybe I didn't miss too much. We have Rev Mirrors in the building. She's currently having a problem with her BMW S1000. Those coils went out. BMW, what are you going to do for the lovely lady? Get her that new bike, you heard? Wifey's in the building, always here showing love. Always dope. We have a familiar face, of course. Solo riders in the building. Thank you for coming through. Really appreciate everybody that comes through early on in the day. And as you guys know, as the night kind of progresses, more people tend to show up and show out. If you have questions for Zack, this is the space and time for you to kind of do that. In between the conversation, we will be answering a lot of those questions. Governor D Nice is in the building. He actually saw some of my new wheelie videos and mentioned that his son might want a Cowie, just so he can practice. Just a quick heads up, as I mentioned, man, you can check out SSR Motorsports. We had the marketing rep on the show before. He spoke about the brand. You can get anything between $1,500 to $2,000 as a gift. I mean, you're going to dump it anyway. It's the perfect bike for you to kind of do that. So definitely encourage you checking that out if you're going to buy it as a gift for your son. Chacon Jeremy's in the building. I went back to work after 2 months off. It feels crazy to go back to the grind. It's all good, though. Glad you're working, though. At least that's a plus. Futuristic Vipers in the building. Sup, Bike Fam? Just showing some love before I watch the NASCAR race. Man, put that on record or watch it later. This is where it needs to be. You're not going to want to miss this. That guy Kel's in the building. We have Dragon S Moto. More people are showing up, guys. I'm loving the fact that you guys are coming through. Really big deal. We currently have a nice amount of people on here. Let's make sure those thumbs up are matching that vibe, that flow. For now, as more people come through, we'll definitely highlight them and kind of say what's up to everybody. But for now, guys, let's give a warm welcome to my... You know what? Before we even do this, maybe we should even just do it right. Let's do it right. You know, before I even bring him on, let's do this. I'd much rather do this anyway. Let's do this. It's just right that we... show, sir. A real pleasure to have you on.
What's up, dude?
Keeping it trill right in the beginning, the signature. What's up, dude? Like that a lot, man. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. There's been a lot of people that's been asking for you to come through. Again, I think you're currently like 150,000 or 200,000 on Instagram, or even more than that, possibly.
Quite, my man, not quite. 128 as of this morning.
128. We're speaking the positive, so that means that's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're going. Yeah, off the bat, Mike, thank you so much for having me here. Always a pleasure. When we first communicated, I was just excited. Just to have this opportunity. Everyone that's already here, for the more people coming, thank you guys for being here. I'm really excited to share part of my story. Any questions you have, Mike and I already discussed. I'm an open book. So by all means, fire them in there and let's get this thing started.
Yeah, man, really dope to have you on. I mean, where to start? It's completely chaos where to start, but I'm gonna start from the very jump, man. I noticed you started on YouTube. YouTube was your initial starting point, right?
Yes, it was my starting point. We'll get to why. I'll let you continue probing me first.
Yeah, is this your starting point? And I always find it extremely fascinating seeing people. By the way, guys, the show's about an hour and a half. We're going to compress everything. We usually kind of span probably to around maybe an hour and 40 minutes, possibly, depending how things are going. Yeah, you started off on YouTube, and I always like to see that only because it brings out some of the best out of people when you start seeing the very beginning of it and how people kind of grow out of their shell, seeing some of your early videos and your demeanor, how much has changed. And
right.
Isn't that amazing? And you're the same guy, same demeanor, but he's just kind of just open up to. It's like a butterfly coming out. You know what I mean? Really dope.
I'll literally explain everything when we get there.
Go right to it, baby. Go ahead. You tell me.
I come from a white collar family, right? I mean, I didn't even mow the lawn, and motorcycles was my escape from that reality. And I although I'm a corporate man for my day job, no blue collar experience. I don't know how to use a ratchet. I don't know how to change my oil on my car. I didn't ride that. Ground zero. Nothing. But I had always been fascinated with sport bikes. And I'm the type of guy that if you're going to do it, like, do it. Do it, right? And this was 4 or 5 years ago. I had been riding for a while, but I wasn't in the bike life until 2019, 2020, right? Till I fully embraced that this is what I wanted to do. And I talk about it on my channel sometimes on Instagram, but I really got my start in YouTube because I knew nothing. So when you know nothing, what do? You YouTube it, right, to find out.
Yes, sir.
I have a video of me, the very first thing I ever did to a bike. I bought a 2015 R6, which I wrecked. No helmet, because I was a squid. Again, like ground zero, as low as you can be is where I was, right?
Don't tell them all. It's so early, baby. Don't tell them all. It gets good, man.
It gets good. Long story short, I didn't want people to have to do what I did, which was absolutely suck, be embarrassing, know nothing. So I wanted to document my journey because I need people to understand that where I am now, which I'm not a superstar, but like accomplished a lot in 2 years. I was nothing, ground zero, no wheelies. I couldn't lean. I couldn't put the adapter on a socket wrench to actually put the socket on to change my levers on my bike. Changing levers on my bike for the very first time, which I bought them on Amazon, like every other guy in the beginning, right? $40. I'm like, they're black, you can put them on, right? And I wanted to document that journey. It ended up me taking off quickly on TikTok, so I left YouTube behind. But I started out educating on how to work on your motorcycle, which again, I knew nothing, and now I can put an engine in a Ninja. 2 years.
Yeah, so you know what it is. I've noticed from you being a corporate guy, being a bit of a go-getter. I'd say not a bit, very much of a go-getter. Same attitude goes into play when we're talking about motorcycles. So I'm gonna quickly highlight this real quick, just before we kind of go into that point real quick, guys. So this is a guy from 2 years ago that came from basically not doing anything on his bike to pretty much doing this now.
Vortex race.
Why I rolled this clip is just because we're just talking about how you started from the very ground up and not knowing how to do much. And if you look at some of your early videos, even the demeanor, you can see where it's a little bit more composed, a little bit more toned down. And I always talk about this very often to a lot of people that comes on. It's like, I like seeing when people just start off on YouTube. It's not that they're different. Like from the first clip I roll when you're dancing, you know what I'm saying, having a good time, is pretty much that's always been you. It's just that breaking through between the barrier of the camera to the actual viewers. There's like this tier that you cross. Once you've made it, it's just perfect. It's not over and it's not below, and it's right there, and it feels very natural. And you could see in this video, you're talking kind of a little bit softer and stuff. You know what I mean? And I think it's super dope in how you're already, you know, removing cats. You're doing the exhaust now. You're doing block offs and stuff. There's quite a few. And if you're watching this stuff, you're moving your wheels and you're talking stuff down. I know a lot of people start, they're just like tighten things down or just putting it back off. You're doing it correct. So that is a lot for a very short period of time, man. So anybody you work with that's kind of showing you this stuff, or you just Google it, or you got a service manual, what's going on?
At this stage in the game, I fly blind.
Oh,
because
wow.
I've done a lot. Like I've put an engine. I've rebuilt 2 CBRs.
Okay.
Like completely wrecked, mangled, forks, clip-ons, swing arms. I put an engine in a Ninja, right? Like swapped an engine because my buddy blew a rod. We were routing up in Ocala. And I mean, I've rebuilt this CBR, this ZX6 Ninja. I got run over in, which we'll get into later.
Yep.
It was totaled, rebuilt it. I've never dropped the 2022, thank God. But I mean, Ride Clutch's bikes, I built the R1M.
Oh, wow. Look at that. That's a gem right there. So I'm assuming since you partner with them, you've worked on it with them.
No, they brought it here and dropped it off, and I made it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait,
and
so
I was supposed to do, what's up?
No, go ahead. Are they located in New York too? Because originally when you were living here, or are they elsewhere?
Phoenix. They
Phoenix.
came here. We went to Georgia, bought the bike, brought it. They went back to Arizona, and I work with Motivation USA, sponsored the build.
There's.
And they sent us everything, and I did it all. And then I had a guy here locally, since SDR, Slam Dirty Rides, ridiculous carbon fiber guy. He customizes carbon fiber and he makes carbon fiber. Okay. So it was candy red carbon fiber in gold, R1M, customized by me.
Wow. That's awesome, man. So one thing that's really dope with what you do, I think it's more special than the videos you do, the uploads you do on Instagram, is the relationships that you're building. I've noticed is one of the biggest thing outside. I know on the outside, it looks like, oh man, he's uploading very frequently. He has a vibe that he follows through Instagram and people watches and he's in the algorithm. But more importantly, I've noticed you have a very strong building connection with people and connecting those pieces, which is probably way more important than anything else, to be honest, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have as many followers as some of these other huge accounts, but I am publicly recognized, debatably the most. I don't have nearly as many followers as them, but when I go to events, like I'm with people with like 250, 300,000 followers, and I'm with them, and I think they're a huge deal, which they are. Yeah. Like when we were out in Phoenix at this huge event called the Sanctuary, all of these people were coming up to me. And that was really humbling for me because I was like, these people had 2 to 3 times as many followers as me, but my page was not designed for the mass. It was designed for the connection with my audience. And that was really eye-opening for me last October, November, when I went to this event and everyone is running up to me, asking me for pictures. And they're saying like, what's up, dude? Like, put me on your story. And we went to a Cycle Gear there, and all the guys at Cycle Gear Mesa knew who I was. There's a guy running a Supermoto stunt track who's like, "Hey man, I follow your TikTok." I'm like, "I follow your TikTok? What do you mean, dude? Like you're crazy." And it's just so humbling for me. And this is not my entire life, but it's incredibly fulfilling when someone says, "You helped me. I did this because of. I didn't know until you saved me." And I'm just like, that's why I do it. Thank you so much for saying that.
You know what's so funny? I feel like TikTok is a big catalyst to a lot of people's entry to, I guess,
me.
Would I say pop culture or something like that? It feels like it is. I'm not on TikTok only because it's just not my vibe, but I'm definitely going to go back to Instagram, kind of go hard with it maybe. Hopefully we'll be able to do something and kind of definitely get that off the floor because you totally inspire me to kind of do. I like how short form the content is, how direct it is. For example, I'm gonna roll this. I thought it was really dope. Also, you did say you wrecked and you didn't have any gear. The reason I'm kind of rolling this is just kind of transition to the conversation into this. I thought it was really, really cool. Take a quick look at the NBT project.
She said, "Hello, mister, pleased to meet you. I wanna hold her, I wanna kiss her. Gonna take her for a ride on a big jet plane."
Yeah, so it's a small clip, but I thought it was really, really cool with you highlighting the brand in a very clever way. I do a lot of cross promotion with motivation, and it's very similar in that space in terms of proudly highlighting a product, not just saying, "Oh, take a look at this product." It is very subtle. It's really just you getting ready and kind of putting stuff on and stuff in the same space. Really, really dope. So has a lot of brand reach out to you kind of to do work, and how does it look in terms of revenue, or is it all just pretty much pro bono work kind of thing for now?
So there's two parts to this. Number one, do not be fooled by all my brand deals and think that people reach out to me. The only sponsor to ever reach out to me was NBT Clothing, and that was my very first. People are under the impression, KYT, how much? Do you know how hard I worked to get that deal? I DM'd them 11 times and sent them 4 emails. And then after I still didn't get a response, because I wanted to work with them, not AGB, not showy. I wanted KYT. I love the brand. They're new, they're fresh. I worked so hard. And then I started posting the screenshots on my story because I'm sick and tired of people thinking and being entitled to saying, "I don't know why I don't have any sponsors." Maybe it's because you're not trying hard enough. How about that? How about that? Don't victimize yourself. Go out there and get it. If you want it, you go get it. Everyone wants to be an Instagram star, but you only post once every 2 weeks.
So that's a really dope gem, I think, for people that are out here. I think often we see people try to go for clout. I think there's a very big distinct between having clout, being popular, and being broke. And those things, for me at least, on this side of the fence, doesn't go well. I much rather be in a good space and not have clout instead of having clout and being broke. And I think there's a big push for that. There's a big environment of people that just are known for pretty much anything and everything and without anything. So in terms of you reaching out to some of these brands and then you working with them, not going into exact numbers or anything like that, sure. Is it lucrative? Let's just put it this way. Or is it something that's financially valid for you to kind of do? And some of the best practices you would suggest to anybody that's watching this now or a little bit later in the week?
So I would say, first off, before we get into the money, and this is controversial.
Okay.
I get into battles with Jess Rides about it because she was my mentor in the beginning. Jess Rides, for those of you who know her. And her and I are always at an end at this conversation because I have a full-time job and I have a big boy salary. I have 2 college degrees and I am not in the same part of my life as a lot of people are in their motorcycle career, right? I didn't buy my first motorcycle until I could buy it cash because that's what I did. And a lot of people try to compare themselves to me in that aspect because I have sponsors and I have deals. But what people don't understand is before you can get those sponsors and deals, I probably spent 10 grand. Like the SC Project exhaust came to me, but do you know how many exhausts I bought and reviewed before I got the SC Project? $6,000 worth, right? So it's like and I posted about this. The steps go, you buy the products, review them. Then you are sent products for free and review them. And then when you are so successful at that, like everything else in life that you have to earn. Doesn't matter what color you are, you got to earn it. Does not matter, everyone in this world, you have to earn it. Then companies will reach out to you, and then you have enough value to say, I will review your products. This is what I bring to the table, and this is how much I cost. At the end of the day right now, my smallest retainer is $150 a month. My largest retainer is $1,200 a month. Retainer meaning I have a contract with them that I'm going to post XYZ amount. I'm going to have 2 stories in 1 reel per month. You pay me $1,200. Some are retainer plus commission. Some are commission only. I've made as much as $3,800 a month. I've made as little as $100. Right? So you tell me.
There you go. So I really think this is a really dope part of the conversation. If you guys are tuning in, definitely you want to hit that thumbs up. If you're watching this later, definitely hit it. These are really big gems because so many people are out here basically famous for nothing and broke. And just as I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's totally not a thing for me. And if I were to guess for Zach, it'd be not even guess. Based on what you're saying, it's not a thing for you neither. So
no, it's not.
Again, it's a very competitive space, and I think when we talk about being competitive in terms of popularity and uploading and posting and everything else and sharing some of the content is one thing. Someone could be 100,000, 500,000, 300,000 and completely zero in terms of revenue, or at least converting that, or not understanding business and stuff like that. This is why it's always very crucial that we talk about business, just kind of offset to people so they are aware. If you want to do this where it pays for itself, it's up to you to figure out the business aspect of it as well. For example, another person that's really good at this is Ebe. He tends to, outside of popularity, his main focus, and most people that don't know who he is, if you even read his body language, the way he kind of talk about things, obviously he has a business background. And then the videos and the content is secondary. I think that's kind of a main thing there. So same thing goes here. I've worked with multiple brands. People have asked me a lot of questions asking in terms of money. It's really about what you've done. What is the body of work that you can show to people? For example, you recognize some of the work I've done with motivation and stuff like that. You can tell it's not, I didn't use my cell phone for it. It wasn't like blown out. Everything was done properly and done in a respectable manner where it could be viewed on YouTube. And in the same space, when they are having meetings, corporate meetings with other brand, they could roll that video.
Yep.
As a means of closing a deal or something like that. So that stuff is really dope. I think those are very crucial information that I think most people don't talk about, only because the popular part is the most common thing. So how'd you get in bed with NBT, man? That brand looks really dope. It's something definitely I think that's interesting to people, because I know you went down before. Somebody clipped you. And was that how you kind of started getting into wearing gear? Was it in conjunction to that's happening and then they spotted you?
Sure. So in that rec, I had on, I actually had on not NBT. I had on protective jeans. These boots, I kept them. Sedici, Corsas. I mean, my ankles would have been. These are super cheap, but it's better than sneakers, right? I wear Alpine Stars. I work with them as well, so that's now. But yeah, you can see. I mean, that's not from me dragging. I'll tell you that. But yeah, if you can see, I mean, they got pretty beat up. I mean, they're all scratched up all the sides. So I was wearing the SMX2 Alpine Stars, which I still have them as well. I was wearing these boots, and then I was wearing a Ride Clutch hoodie and a Lululemon shirt, RIP. They cut it off my body. They cut my pants off. I don't know if we want to talk about the wreck right now. I was not at fault. That being said, I know you guys all know the vibe. There are days when you ride and you know when you feel good. You feel really good. You feel like you're in control. Your mind is snappy. Everything's there. You can feel it in your fingertips. You feel good. And then there's the days where you feel a little off. Maybe the world feels a little chaotic. Everything, the energy feels unpredictable. Those days, I don't ride on those days anymore. I do not commute. I have a car. But the day I wrecked, the day I got run over, was one of those days where the world felt a little unpredictable, and I ignored that feeling. And I wasn't wearing all the gear that I should have. And I still don't all the time. I've gone down twice. I've been hospitalized many times from motorcycles. So I know the consequences. I don't always wear gear. But NBT pants or my racing leather pants, I wear all the time now. And that is how I got introduced to NBT. I went down, and Nick, one of the owners, saw it, who was their spokesperson and face of the company, NBT, Nicky Boys Toys, reached out to me and said, hey, do you want a pair of pants? And that was the first time anyone had ever reached out to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I wrecked my bike and now I'm getting a sponsor. And then in the next year of business, they did $1 million of revenue. Popped off. They're working on some huge deals right now. They're already in some Harley stores. He's a very, very good friend of mine. We just did a collab together. He bought an FTR, Indian FTR, which it's a little naked bike sportster type Indian. And really he was the first sponsor company to believe in me. And I can attribute a tremendous amount of my success and trajectory to him believing in me. So shout out to Nick.
Here's the thing I wanted to ask. So in a lot of cases when companies do reach out, actually I have two questions regarding that. When companies reach out, they usually give you the gear, or at least in that case, since you went down, they gave you the gear.
Yeah.
I've had this conversation with other people that's partnered with me or messaged me on the back end like, hey, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. Usually my early advice to people is be careful about taking free things, because what tends to happen the minute you start getting free things, a lot of big companies, they interpret it as if that's your payment. And again, you know, I'm allergic to being broke. A lot of people, you guys know, if you watch my page, my channel, so your boy has that allergy. So, how did that work out from them providing you the riding jeans and transitioning it to a paid sponsorship?
Sure.
Not in details where you tell numbers or nothing like that. Just, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. And I wouldn't talk about it anyway. He definitely wouldn't want me to, because there's so many. I don't know how much the other sponsors get paid. I don't really care. I have a great relationship with him. He is not a good example because Nick has one of the highest levels of integrity and logic of any business owner I've ever met, right? Like the amount that he cares. His company would probably make a lot more money if he was incredibly stingy or parsimonious. That's true. But his brand has grown so substantially because of his generosity. He has the right resources and the right business partners to be able to do that. That is why the brand is the way that it is. And that's why companies like AGV Dainese are incredibly hard to work with, because of the scrupulous red tape manner that they do, because their brand is so top tier, high end, specific, years and years and years of success. No one will taint it, and if it did, that's your job on the line, right? So they're early enough where they can take on a tremendous amount of these riders. So the relationship went like this: he gave me the pants, I showed out, because I was so proud. I was so proud to be a part of his organization. And then it slowly turned into, hey, I'll give you $25, you know, if you create a little post. Oh my gosh, $25. It was like the greatest thing ever to me, right? I mean, I don't do this full time. $10 would have sufficed. And then it slowly moved into our relationship seriously blossoming, where people started recognizing me with their brand. People thought I owned NBT, right? Because
it's so funny you said that. I'm walking around, I go places, people think that I own Motivation. Same thing, same exact thing. It's like, that's your company, right?
Like,
yes, become synonymous with it.
Yeah, no, exactly. So you know the vibe.
Yes.
And in doing so, he recognized the value that I had, and it kind of moved into like, I don't work for NBT, but they come to me for marketing content.
Yeah.
I'm in their Facebook ads, and it had blossomed into a relationship where it's like, hey, like, let's make sure you're taken care of. I never asked for more money from NBT. I never asked for anything. It was a tremendous amount of mutual respect between us for him to understand the timeline of when those financial bonuses would come into play and commission. So it's a terrible example because it's such a fantasy relationship between us. Although I am contractually obligated with NBT, but yeah, so that is the relationship. Very slow progression from no money to him seriously taking care of me.
So here's the thing that's really, really cool. I try to explain this to a lot of people that comes on the stream on how I built my relationship with motivation. It sounds very much somewhat similar to NBT. And just not to go too much into details, to the point that they understand the value. And when I say understand the value, you clearly understand what I'm saying. I don't know if everybody in the chat gets it, but they understand the value that you bring and the kind of work that you do. And I don't think outside of that, working with good people, I don't think you really have to specify any exact number, because once they know, the check gets cut, and then you just know, because good people want to do good by you because they could see your conversion, and they'll make it right. And hence why, I always promote motivation, a big deal. Their links are in the description. I always tell people, if you want to support this channel, shop with these guys. They're amazing. Same thing. It sounds like it's very similar to them. And motivation's not a huge company. You've spoken with Jacob and everyone else and the rest of the team. I'm mentioning Jacob. I don't want to mention other names just because I don't want people just freaking out. But very similar to that, and I love their integrity. They're amazing in that sense as well. And I know there's a lot of competitor brands out there, but listen, if you guys know, definitely hit up those people. But how does that work with you working with Alpine Stars? Because they do gear, and then NBT jeans, that could be a conflict of interest. I don't know how that work in terms of your contract between the two, or is it okay that you mix them both, kind of thing?
It's funny that you asked that. Two totally different riding styles, right?
Yes.
If I'm wearing, I'll go get my suit. You want to look at it?
Yeah, man.
Actually, no. I wear my leathers. If I'm gonna go get rowdy, like if I'm gonna go get buck wild, I'm obviously gonna wear my leathers, right? So I either go these pants with my Alpine Stars boots. These are freaking sick. And I actually just posted a video. So the relationship came through KYT helmets. They work with Alpine Stars. I work with KYT. Now I do.
Yo, hold that thought for a second. I've mentioned this so many times to you guys. This industry is so small in terms of how things work, on how you get things done. The minute you're in through the door and you've made the right connections with people, it just bounce around. And if you're building that proper relationship, people will recommend you, and your work speaks volume. I always tell people, even though you're not getting 1 million views, your professionalism and how you present stuff, how well you produce your content, your name will come up in the right conversations. And instead of being everywhere, having your name in the right conversations is probably more important, which a lot of people are unaware of. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're 100% correct. It's the snowball effect. Everyone wants to rush it. Everybody just wants it all right now. And I get it, because I did too. I get it. Do you know how many Cardos I bought before I signed a contract with them? Guess how many Cardos I purchased before I got a contract with Cardo?
I don't know. You tell me. Probably a good 4 or 5, maybe?
6.
6, yeah.
$300-$400 a pop.
What that tends to do also, I think a lot of people tend to forget, it ends up validating to the company. Not only you want money from them. Well, I hate when I word it that way. Not only you want to get in business with them, it shows that you believe in the product. You don't necessarily have to get it for free in order for you to kind of vouch for them. So ideally, you're already in and you like the product. It's a bonus that they're paying you to kind of show up for it.
Yeah. This is a really good combination of companies, because both of them are very realistic stories. KYT, helmet turned into 2, helmet turned into 3, turned into me giving one away every month, which then turned into the new release of the NZ race, and I get commission.
Yeah.
And they literally, I remember the very first commission check that they sent me. He was like, dude, you sold so many helmets. I'm like, how many? And then he sent me to my PayPal, and I was like, oh, I gotta start selling more helmets. But I didn't know so many people would buy them. But I mean, the NZ race, and by the way, guess who's flying me to Vegas to the AIM Expo?
KYT.
KYT.
There you go. So here,
No.
But here's the thing that's cool. I think this came up also in another stream that we had where people mention and they ask about companies hitting them up, or I get a tons of email where people say, oh, you want to show this product, they'll send it to you. I think there's a bait and switch that a lot of scouts do, and I think you guys got to be very careful with this, which I think works a lot, because if you come from a place where it's a hard grind, anything that's free, like a free helmet, free glove, it feels like you're winning, right? If just keep in mind, if someone's reaching out to you, that means you have a value that you can provide. And they might put it in a way where, hey, you getting the product is the win. It's really not. Every single one of these companies have a marketing budget, and they fit you into that marketing budget. Whether it's the product that you're getting, which is part of that cost, or what they offset to you based on your following, your conversion rate. So all of those things tend to, I mean, we're going really into business here at this point, guys. I know it's supposed to be very, very bike. I'm very into business as well. And I could tell Zack is into it as well. So we're kind of vibing on that. If they're reaching out, that means you have a value. Whether you're getting, a certain amount of views, it's not like 1 million. You don't have 1 million followers. I think it tends to happen a lot to influencers or people that are prominent in our industry. They tend to undervalue what they do and the power that they have in terms of conversion. Conversion. So we're talking about, they send you a helmet that's $1,000, right? If you sell 2 of those helmets, they've already got their money back, and also your name's being spent. Also, it's permanently forever. Perpetually, it's just going. It never really comes off. So I think a lot of people are completely unaware. They tend to have very young people do marketing because they're not very business savvy. They don't really understand how marketing works and how long it stays. And it's almost like getting syndicated almost. It might not be hot right now, or it could be hot today. Next year, it might not be, but trickling. Let's say if I'm marketing KYT, you're marketing KYT, my wife is marketing KYT, a couple of people are doing it. We're talking about a year down the line. The conversion is still going, but slower. We're talking about 1 from you, 3 from you, 1 from me. My wife gets another. You know what I mean? It compiles. That keeps them out of the red. They're staying in the black. You know what I mean? So very, very important. I think it's a dope part of the conversation, which I'm sure people might either find it extremely interesting or probably like, oh, it's not motorcycles. But trust me, if you're into the game, you need to understand some of these gems, or you're going to be working out here struggling for free. And that's not very fun. That could be very demotivating, especially when you have talent.
Yeah. I want to talk about Cardo, which is going to be a perfect segue into exactly what you were just talking about, connections a little later ago. I work with Taylor. A lot of people work from Taylor, one of their higher up marketing guys. He knows everybody. So if I ever need a new relationship, I go to Taylor like, hey, do you know? For instance, NBT said, Zack, I need someone to be at the Harley dealership for the unveiling of the NBT partnership in Tennessee. Do you know anyone in Tennessee? I post on my story. Taylor hits me back. Here are the 6 guys I work with in Tennessee. I'm like, hey, Nick, here you go. Right? I don't know anybody in Tennessee. No, Taylor. I talked to Taylor. I wanted a brand deal with Cardo. And this was last year in Q3. Everybody in the world was struggling last year in Q3, right?
Yep.
So I wasn't asking for money. I wanted to start defining our relationship. And he said, I have nothing in my budget right now, man. But what I do have is units.
Yo, pause for a second. Just so you guys know here, if you notice very carefully how Zack is navigating this conversation, right? Him just getting his foot into the door was key. Not really the money, not the money aspect or anything like that. Getting his foot into the door and have them understand his value, and then we can convert that into, this is what I could do in terms of you getting your return on your investment. So very carefully on how his approach is. Again, I had Black Moses on. He's very prominent in the motorcycling industry. Key thing he said, you sneeze on the West Coast and somebody on the East Coast says, God bless you. So same thing there with the Cardo Connect, plugs into everyone else. So huge deal there. Yeah, go on, man. These are all dope gems, guys. I know there's a lot of bikes. We want to talk wheelies and stuff, but this is even more important.
We will.
Yeah, we will. And this is even more important, to be honest, because the gems that you're hearing tonight, nobody's giving this away. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's letting you know how you can kind of capitalize and make your side hustle become your main hustle. Most people bullshit you. They tell you, hey, do what you love, continuously doing it, and it's going to happen. I tell you, that's bullshit. There is a structure to this, just like there's an algorithm on Instagram, on YouTube. Yep. There's a structure on how you get your foot in the door, get your feet wet, and basically get in bed with the right people. Yeah, go on.
He told me, Taylor said, I don't have any money, but I have units. So then I stop for a second. I'm like, okay, here we go. He's going to send me $3,000 worth of units, and I'm going to go to all the bike nights at Ace Cafe in Orlando, and I'm going to start giving them away. Not only does that help my brand, clout, I look rich. Like I got all these Cardo units. This guy's handing out. You know, people can't even afford it. You can't just go to Cycle. Not everyone can go to Cycle Gear and just buy a $400 unit, and I'm tossing them out like candy canes, all right? Literally. Taylor allowed me to. So I said to Taylor, Taylor, if I wanted to have like a professional relationship financially with Cardo, like if I provide enough value for you by January with the units that you gave me, can we have that conversation? He said, yes. And guess what? We did. We did.
Yo, this is dope. I'm so glad you're on. What's dope? What's cool about this whole thing, guys, the fact that you're not prominent on YouTube, your base for you to eat and kind of level up is on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I think you could be very candid in terms of that approach, which is really dope. Every time I get people that's on YouTube, it's very difficult to kind of give off that information, because what happened is I think people tend to interpret it as if they're gonna lose out. By the way, wanted to say what's up to Covert Mecca's in the building. We have Adobo Moto. I need you to come on. He's actually on an upswing. Hopefully you can schedule him come back on. I want to kind of highlight some of his success as well. And then he's actually totally taken off, transitioning from TikTok to Instagram to YouTube, doing extremely well. And I think he's worked with Sauron, a couple of companies, similar thing, and not like a crazy following, but he's slowly converting his clout for currency, which is really, really dope. And I love seeing that. I'm a very savvy person when it comes to like business. I find it very interesting and stuff like that. So you seem to be in the same boat. So hopefully we can bring him back on. But yeah, I think it's really dope having that space, man, because it's very interesting how, you know, you go from NBT, and the minute you get your foot in the door, it's not very easy, but it's just transitional on how you can kind of do that. You know, you talk to other people, you express your gratitude and what you bring in terms of value. Again, if you guys are not catching what Zack is saying, he's never mentioned anything. Here's the amount of money I want you to give me. He's basically talking about, here's the value I can bring. Then we can have a conversation regarding how we can kind of do an ROI on it. So if you notice a pattern, a lot of people that stuff tend to go over people's heads sometimes. I'm not saying that over you guys, but it's always about the value you bring first. Same thing with the Cardos. Most people would be very stingy. They would probably offset them in eBay if they did that, just because they're thinking short terms. Like, yo, I want to get some bread. I want to get a new bike. Oh, they sent me this amount of units. I could sell that many, giveaway and do, auctions. You use that with your business mentality to use it to show conversion, which is super fascinating. I think a lot of people are not thinking in that same space. Really, really dope approach, man.
I think that people overlook this aspect. The company wants you. Company wants you versus they have to have you.
Yes.
Big difference. I'll give you, for instance, Shutter Bomb. The smoke. I have some in here. It's over there. Wanted me to sign a contract immediately. You know why? Because they wanted to lock me down. But guess what? I'm not stupid. I know that they wanted to lock me down for $250. And I know that I'm going to generate much more revenue than that. So I said, hey, how about this? The first one's free. Because I posted, I went off, and I'm like, hey, guess what? Guess who has the leverage now? You need me.
Yo, I know you're a corporate guy, man, because both you and I live in the corporate world, and we understand exactly how this works.
Yeah.
That is
you
really,
wish I signed that contract.
Yeah, they get a lot of people like that, man. They get a lot of people like that, and I think they lowball you a lot because, again, they have a very good understanding of how a lot of people do not really understand the value that they bring. And I think one thing that's going to happen that really offset that starts giving you your worth when you start really investing into yourself. For example, getting proper gear, getting proper equipment. When you start really putting hard-earned cash out, then you realize, oh man, what I'm doing costs me. Then you start looking at it in a broader perspective and saying, hey man, you can't just send me a free item and thinking that's what it is. We're gonna have to figure out the best way here. And this conversation I have off camera with people, with friends or close people, and kind of explain to them how things work. And I think people tend to get demotivated when they hear the first no. And no is okay. What tends to happen is when people are tight in a bind, they don't have a lot or liquid asset or liquid cash around. So it sounds good really quickly when it's like, oh, here's $100. But when you do have, I would like one of those things I always tell companies, hey, listen, you could send me this, but I can buy it. I always let them know that I can buy this if it was something that I like to begin with, because I think they're so accustomed to just giving people stuff and that's it. And not to name some brand, there's a couple of brands that I'm aware that's done this stuff to other people. Also, I think too, one of the key things also, I think your demographic that's watching you seems to be, if I were to guess, you can tell me yes or no.
I can tell you, so guess.
You're in between the ages 16, which are their viewers. Their viewership are bumping up. You have your college age between your 21s to 35. Those guys have jobs. They're college grads. They're working 9 to 5, and they can convert. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're 100% correct.
And then you have the guys that have like 500,000 followers, and they're all 16-year-olds looking at it. And of course, they're, oh yeah, you wheelie or you crash or whatever. You get a lot of views, which conversion's a little tough with YouTube based on your click-through rate or whatever. And you're not making a lot of money. For me, I much rather a company cut me a check than some of the smaller spaces, because it's not the same when you have to wait. And it's very temperamental. You could get big here, you can get small there based on the month or whatever, the viewing rate. So there's just a lot that goes into that. And these guys, when they go to companies, big companies, when they try doing that approach we just spoke about, they can't show, they have 500,000 subscribers or followers, and they can't sell 5 shirts. And then you don't have any value. You have clout, you have no value, but they can't offer you anything.
Yeah, no, you're completely correct, and I think people completely miss this. A lot of people, I could go out and buy a C8 tomorrow. Would I be broke? Yep. Would I get a ton of followers? Yep. Would it be worth it to Zack?
Nope.
But to Joe Schmo, who just went and got a Ducati V4R, making a $895 payment every month. But now he has 100 followers, which is really what he wanted.
Yo, are you going hard at my boys Fastlane? We're gonna say names.
Fastlane D. I don't know anything about him, dude. I don't know anything about that guy.
Fastlane is family, man. Come on.
I know. I was just throwing a. I've never even met the guy. Of all the influencers, I know him the least.
Fastlane's good people. Good people.
Yeah, no, never met. No, I was just throwing it up.
Yep. Go on.
I don't freaking know. But. But like, for instance, I'm K. I'm K has all those bikes. I'm K can afford all those bikes. Bro, He has all those super bikes. He ain't broke, and he has all those followers. But some people will trade their money for clout, and it's like, they be okay with you. That's not okay with me. I'm good. I'll get there eventually. If I want a ZX10, I've been wanting a ZX10. I'm getting one next month. And I waited because there are guidelines in my life that I will not make sacrifices. I went on a date. I spent $1,000. Why? Because I don't make those sacrifices in my bike life that affect my ability to go on a really nice date with a girl that I really like, because if I had a Ducati, I couldn't do that. So it's like, it's a give and a take, right? I'm choosing the balance of my lifestyle with the motorcycles.
I'm going to pause you for a second. Guys, Sasong mentioned here, Fastlane D has a V4 SP2. Just so we can take off the heat, I don't want everybody to think that it's shots or anything like that. He's talking about me. I'm one of those broke boys. I have several Ducatis in the garage, so it's referring to me. So we'll do it as that.
Nah, I'm not. He knows I never fire a shot.
And Adobo Moto mentioned here, yes, you make a lot of sense in some of the stuff that we're talking about. Yeah, man, it's a very interesting space, and I think it's a lucrative space. It's really your approach, and I think if we're to go by percentage, I think by majority, I think most people that are across social media with big following are broke. I'm just 100%. Saying. Not that I'm saying every single one of them, but in a lot of cases, don't let the number on the outside reflect what it's really supposed to be. Ideally, your real approach should be getting money, and nobody knows you're getting money. Not facts. On the outside. The showing of the money is probably the least getting amount of money.
100%.
So, yeah.
No, I forget who it was. Cristiano Ronaldo said, "You're rich when you can get on a private jet and not take a picture." And I said, "Okay."
Oh man.
That's like, okay. You're rich.
So, it's really dope. I think this part of the conversation, I have to kind of jump off into something else, but I think it's a really cool. I'm totally fascinated by business and how it goes, and it's super important to me. I have to understand it, and having that full comprehension really can propel you to where you want to go. So I'm just kind of transitioning here into like practicing wheelies. Same thing for me. I've been like today I was out wheelie practicing, and Downshift ended up calling me. I used my KLX actually, right? To hold on 1 second. I have
KLX.
Huh?
KLX wheelie practice?
Yeah.
Power wheelies or clutch ups?
Clutch up, baby. Come on now. You know I don't play in terms of clutch
I'm just
up.
asking.
Nah. We all about the clutch up, consistently clutching it up. Just really just modulating the brake. That's where I'm at now. Modulating the rear brake and really keeping the throttle open, getting rid of that sinking feeling. And I'm either on the Monster, the Hyper, the Street Fighter. Well, they're all Ducatis, and the Superbike should be joining the fleet soon. But so right when I was out with practicing, and Downshift hit me, he was like, "Oh, I saw your video. You're practicing wheelies and stuff." Like, he dropped me a bunch of gems and stuff, so it made things really, really cool that somebody was able to reach out and give some information. I'm gonna pull up one of your clips here on you giving tips, which always.
Is it on the bike, or is it one me collabing with Moto Jitsu?
Let's do the Moto Jitsu one. I thought that was a dope one too. That was a fun one.
That one was cool.
Let's see here. Tips, dance, Dainese collab.
All right, buddy. So now that I got myself a supermoto, time to do some wheelies. But I actually don't know how to do wheelies, so I'm going to send it over to my man Zack in Florida, who does, for a couple tips.
What's up, dude? Thanks, Moto Jitsu. I'm not a wheelie guy, but I got a bit of a feel for it. What you got your hands on there, that 701, the torque to weight ratio makes it a wheelie monster. Although you can power wheelie, you know I'm all about that clutch up gang. So we're gonna go over it one more time, and then I'll show you. The timing is everything. Clutch, throttle, clutch. That is the sequence. You want a bit of a delay between your clutch, your throttle, and the clutch pop. If you do it right, it'll look a little bit like this.
Yo, the one thing that's missing out that video, the fact that the audio didn't completely tell the story, is that the sound is one of the key things. Just listening to the bike on how you did that, you have to hear the sound. When you do it correctly, it makes this distinct sound, and you start learning how to do it. When you clutch it just right, you hear that sound. In that video, since there was a lot of wind, you didn't hear it, but you explained it perfectly, except understanding the sound. So really, really dope, man. Again, I like those clips. How do you find creating content on Instagram? Because I'm more in the YouTube mind space, where when I'm doing videos, they're more thought out. I structure, beginning, middle, and end to tell a story, at least make it entertaining. It takes a specific skill to tell it within a minute and 30 seconds. So I give huge respect to people that able to do that, only because I started doing it on YouTube where I do shorts. So it requires actually not even a little bit, a lot of skill to confine all that because of the attention span. So talk to us about that and consistency and how you got to the amount of following that you got so quickly.
Yeah, for sure. I have a crying cat outside, so. Yeah,
no, you know what? Go and do that, man. This is going to give me some time to kind of promote motivation real quick, though. So go and check on the cat real quick.
Yeah.
What's good, boys? Super excited to actually have everybody on tonight. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the show tonight. FreeStyle Sunday is where we bring you some of the dope content, a lot of information. And as you guys know, I work with Motivation USA, really big company. Very proud to have them be part of the channel. If you guys want to support what we do here, get this kind of information, or at least learn from some of the awesome information that you're getting, you want to shop in the link in the description, motivationusa.com, where you can get anything and everything for your motorcycle, no matter which brand, no matter which make and model, guys. This is where you're going to want to shop, really. I know I talk about it all the time, but that's pretty much how I got my bike to be as saucy as you can see it. So always appreciate everyone going to the Motivation website, buying exhaust. SE Projects is the only place that you can get Motivation USA is the only place to get SE Project exhaust. So, for example, whether you're buying from any other marketers out in the game and you order from them and then you get your exhaust, whether it's coming from other places, which I won't say their name, they're actually buying from Motivation and then they're shipping it out for them. So go to the source. Every single one of my Ducatis, they all have SE Project on there, minus the green bike over there. But you guys know the deal, man. Shop motivationusa.com. Your boy will appreciate it. All right, so we're going to pull 100%. Zack back in real quick, and then from there, we'll continue the conversation, guys. There we go. You're back. You took care of the cat?
I want to talk about the sound of the wheelie. This is really important. When you're learning how to do a wheelie, the initial clutch pop is not going to be as sudden because it's really scary. Yeah. And it'll sound like this. Versus
you drag when you're dragging the clutch. You're dragging the clutch. Yep.
It comes up slow and then you start pulling right.
Yes.
Versus and then it's just straight up, pulled up. And you don't need to be a rear brake master in order to get a good clutch pop near balance point. The higher you go, the less aggressive you have to be on the throttle. It's just a fact, right? Yeah. So dragging the clutch is the two things that people do is they drag the clutch and they let the clutch go before they give it gas, and then you're just power wheeling, right? Yes. Those are the two things. They rush it, but getting, and even me sometimes when I get new gloves, I had to adjust my clutch because I wasn't fully engaging and fully letting go of the clutch because my gloves are a little bigger. So I had to adjust my clutch to get it to pick up later so I can get all the way in and all the way out of the friction zone. That makes sense.
And I've explained this before. It's kind of hard for me to explain it until someone actually try it. I always tell people, get a trash bike that you can dump so you can actually get it. Because that same explanation that you just did, because I know Adobo Moto's in the chat, he wheelies a Suron. That's an electric bike. That's a whole different beast there. It's more like a power wheelie into balance point.
Power wheelie, scary.
So what happened is you quickly learn. I always do it on the side whenever I'm doing it to show people. It's not only whang that you hear, there's a little step that you need to keep in mind. It's when so the RPM is being dragged, right? So you're not at the top of the RPM where the bike is peaking anymore. You use the RPM to bring it up, and then from there you slowly roll off. It's all happening so fast that it's hard to explain. When you do the roll off, at this point you're already balancing. You're just carrying it out. And then your emergency's rear brake. You know what I mean? So it's super interesting. And here's the thing that I think you can kind of see how all those things kind of interconnect, right? With you loving business, understanding business, doing business. You like to understand things as you're doing them. And that's how I kind of fell in love with doing it. I really wanted to understand how it works and why does it work.
Yes.
Once you do that, it's not as hard as everyone thinks.
Yes. Dude, just think it. I told my neighbor, he just bought an MTO thing, and he wants me to work on his bike. And I said, once you put your own wheels on your bike, once you put your own brake pads in, once you flush your coolant, once you change your own oil, when you start to understand your bike, it's almost as if there's this energy, spiritual, mutual connection between you and your bike, where there's now another level of trust between you and your bike. And it's not the bike taking you, it's you telling the bike what to do. Huge difference. Riding the horse is a horse riding you, right? You know the vibes.
Well, the fear I think a lot of people tend to have is if I do something wrong, and it's a valid fear, right?
It is.
If you do something wrong, not only it could cause damage to the bike, that's step one, you will harm yourself. That's the biggest fear that most people tend to have. And there's a lot of resources since, again, you can go into YouTube. Again, you need to have a healthy understanding of anything you're doing, or at least get information. First tire chain, just kind of understand torque spec. Understand, for example, the whole torque spec bit, and I did an explanation here on the stream prior, because I had a big fear, like when I work on my bike, one of these days I'm gonna be in the canyon taking a corner and the bolt's gonna come out, and just to kind of get rid of that fear, I look into like torque spec, what happened if you do over torque something, or if you under torque. If you under torque, it's way better. The bolt will probably walk, and if you mark it, you will know, because after each ride you check everything. It's your bike, you know what you've worked on, you take a look. If it walked, you'll know. But if you overdo it, right, you over torque a bolt, that's where you have a real problem. What really tends to change, and I mentioned this to people before, the molecular structure of the bolt tends to change. And over time, either it's going to break out, half's going to stay, half is not, or if it's in the engine casing, you semi-fucked. Because you can still somewhat drill it out and then slowly crank it back out. Then you're talking about like detail work at this point. Or you could redo the actual threads and then kind of go back into it. So those are some of the ways, but ideally understanding, because basically it removes the fear, because you understand what over torquing is. Because most people just talk about it as if everyone knows what it is, and we hear this very often. And I'm one of those people in the world of business or anything like that. I rather look like an idiot asking a question instead of messing up an account, finding out you didn't know this. So be the idiot that knows ahead. That way you're triumphant down the line. So very, very cool thing, just understanding the aspect, and then you can kind of work on things. You're less likely to cause issues. Having a bolt walk out on you is not the end of the world. In most cases, you will spot it before it completely come out. If you do a pre-check before each ride, if you do a check after a ride, you can see something walk. Even if it's just a little bit, you can spot it. But try not to destroy the molecular structure of an actual bolt. That creates a real problem that you might have to pay more money to fix. But yeah.
I want you to guess the first nut that I over torqued, because I had no idea what torque spec. Just take a guess which one.
The most likely it's going to be a frame bolt. I think most people tend to do that because either no, tell me.
Rear axle nut.
Oh, did it crush your bearings?
No, it didn't. So I didn't know. I didn't have a torque wrench. I didn't have any of this stuff. Just like ground zero, right? I took my wheels off because I got new tires on the R6, and when I put it back on, which that was a nightmare, I just cranked down to my rear axle nut until I went and got a chain and sprocket kit, and then my motorcycle friend, who's blue collar, comes over, and we can't even get it off. And he's like, it's 88 foot-pounds. Who put this on? I'm like, what's 88 foot-pounds? He's like, the torque spec of your rear axle on the R6 or whatever it would be. I do 88 in all my bikes. I don't know what the factory spec is. I do 5 on the front and I do 88 on the back. I don't know what you do.
With the Ducatis, they're a little bit more than that because it's single-sided swing arm. I think 140, if I were correct. I always go through the manuals again and confirm.
Fast.
Yeah, because it's single-sided swing arm and you're cranking it on one side. Let it snap once. You could snap it twice and you should be okay. Get an extension pole. Yeah. Wow, at least it didn't destroy your bearings. That would have been really costly.
I just destroyed one. You want to see it?
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So learning experience for me. I had never done bearings before. So I was like, I've seen people do it. And they say you either have to have the actual bearing seal kit or you have to use the perfect size socket.
Oh, yeah. There's a trick to it. If you use the perfect size socket, you could crank it through the inside. If you crank it enough, it'll fall flush. Or you can get a clamp, a vice clamp with some padding. Slowly crank it. It could work also. These are all cool little tidbits. Yeah, go ahead.
Here we go.
Let's see.
This is what it should look like, right? Flush and nice. Well, I was like, I don't know anything about bearings, but I've watched people do it. I want to do it myself. So I took a socket that was the wrong size and smashed it.
Oh, you went into yeah.
Right, and it doesn't turn anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fine. I got all balls on bearings, ceramic bearings for my track bike anyway. So I needed to do it. I was lackadaisical because I was like, well, I want to get new bearings anyway, but if I can put the OEM back in, because I just got them painted, I'll show you the wheels. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to take a whack at it. 0 for 1, baby.
You know what it is? You learn by making mistakes, man. I mean, it happens with a lot of people. Fuck around and
find out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, here are the wheels. They're you can see like they shimmer rainbow. You can't really tell, but anyway, yeah.
So by the way, I wanted to kind of mention this also. One thing that's really dope. I don't know how's the manual for your Cowie. For the KLX that I used to practice a wheelie is that the manual. Because Adobo Moto mentioned it here too regarding their manuals. Is pulling up here. I mentioned Yamaha manual says the sprocket nut specs 80 Newton meters. Yeah, so that's really kind of cool. I love that about Japanese bikes, and I really wish some of the premium Italian bikes would kind of do that kind of stuff. I've actually shot a video talking about this, how Cowie has really changed my perspective on Japanese bike. It feels like they want to inspire you to connect with your bike. They want to give you torque specs on how to do everything. You don't need a service manual as much unless you're going into the engine or you're going really deep in. But most of some of the basic stuff, they give you the torque specs. For one of the Ducatis, you need to reach to the dealer. If they're not really nice to you, if they don't know you, if you're not plugged, I'll call you back. We'll give you the torque specs. And they never get back to you. Or you have to go online, pay a bunch of money for one of their service manuals. But in terms of Japanese bike, they tend to give you a lot. So I don't know what your is it a ZX6R, right? You have?
I have a 2013 and a 2022.
I'm assuming the manual is pretty hefty, right? They give you pretty much everything with it.
I literally have the factory manual for the 2022 if you want me to grab it.
Yeah, why not, man? I'm very curious to see that because I think it's very interesting how these companies have different approach and the way they want to have you get engaged and really work on your own bike, and that's very impressive. I like the manual on my Cowie, and I ended up doing an entire video talking about how that's pretty hefty. Yeah, on my KLX, it's pretty much everything. Torque specs for everything. How to take pretty much the front rail, the rear rail off, air box, oil, everything. Pretty much, they want you to do everything, so it's pretty dope.
Give me a comic book.
Oh, they have diagrams also. Yeah, man.
Riding tips, you and your motorcycle. From Motorcycle Safety Foundation. This came in with my Kawasaki manual. Owner's manual. We'll just read the table of contents here. What do we got? General lubrication, cleaning, general precautions, where to be careful, washing your vehicle, your warranty. Yeah, dude, this stuff's crazy. What else we got here? What are some good ones? Air cleaner intake, specifications, serial number, locations, luggage, driver in an accident, and then the maintenance and adjustments, daily checks, periodic maintenance, engine oil, coolant, air cleaners, throttle control system, idle speed, clutch, drive chain, brakes.
Yeah,
I mean, just
they want you to work on the bike. On any of my
Yeah.
Ducatis, pretty much, go see them. Go see the make an appointment with the dealer. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
I mean, I work on my own bikes, really, but still, I think it's designed to scare people. Maybe because the bikes are a little bit more finicky. Pretty much, I've been pretty happy with pretty much any of my bikes. I haven't really had any issues.
Scared. I'd be scared to work on Euro, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'd be terrified.
No.
I'll rip this thing apart. I don't care. I'll put it back together.
Nah, see, the thing is, here's the only thing that I would suggest for anybody that has either a Triumph or Ducati or anyone MV Agusta, get yourself a metric set. Metric set everything, your T-Torques and stuff like that. It's hard pressed for you to destroy anything once you have that. Most people start working on these bikes with with an SAE setup. That's a recipe for disaster. You start stripping stuff, and that's gonna strike fear very early on. You're like, get the right tools, and then from there, it's pretty much doing Legos or you delayering. I always tell people this: working on a bike is delayering. You got to go from one layer, fairing, and then you're going in, and then you're layering back on. It's one way that I always phrase it, just to kind of explain to people so they're not too fearful of touching their bikes. I remember just getting the brand new Street Fighter V4, and I started taking that bike apart, and everybody's like freaking out, like, "What the fuck's going on? Just you're down to the V4 engine." And I'm like, "It's just the bike. You get used to it. You start doing it, and it's confidence inspiring. You know, you understand your bike a little bit more, and you can actually respect it a little bit more too. So, I mean, it's not for everyone, but it's always cool to kind of show that."
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Just gonna roll some clips here. I know we're talking so much. I want to show this here. This is also a cool one. This is you working on your fuel cap. You have like everything. I pull off so many, like, you know what? We're gonna do one for motivation, man. We gotta do all motivation love tonight.
The SC project?
Hells yeah, man. We gotta highlight family on this one. Why not?
Can they hear me while you're running the
Absolutely.
the video?
Yes.
So
What's up, dude? Welcome back to Why Not Ride. You already know what day it is.
So you can talk ahead.
you're good.
It's product
Image,
Sunday.
clout.
Teamed up with SC Project, have an Aero titanium.
And I knew
mid-pipe
I wanted
that
to work with an
actually
exhaust
GP
company or an exhaust,
titanium
and
carbon fiber slip-on.
I had plenty of offers.
Just listen.
Which blew me off. Austin Racing big dicked me. Competition Works tried to buy me off. Race Fit tried to buy me off. But I wanted to work with Motivation USA. I wanted to work with SC Project, and we had that conversation. And I told Jacob, I'm like, dude, like, I really, really, really want to work with you guys. I love SC Project. And the initial discussion, dude, like 3 weeks of wheeling and dealing with Jacob before we got like the exhausts down. And it wasn't the best deal that I got, but it's paying dividends because SC Project is clout. It's unrivaled. This bike sounds ridiculous. Unrivaled. You can hear me. You can hear me anywhere. You know the vibes. You run SC Project.
Come on, man. I know the deal.
Max Wrist went side by side with the Austin Racing on the 2021 BMW, the S1000, and then he ran the SC Project, and then he even put a poll up between the Austin Racing and the SC Project. Nobody chose the Austin Racing. SC Project is unrivaled in sound, performance. Akrapovich, we get it.
Oh man! On that same note, I might as well just ask this man. Since you mentioned Max Wrist, might as well ask. I saw a clip of Max Wrist recently, and it is not good, man. You might as well
No
get a little
comment.
controversial, man. You're open-minded, and you're gonna talk your mind, and I like that. I'm gonna talk my mind to tonight, man. It's a good stream.
I would never ride with Max Wrist.
I would never ride with Max Wrist neither. 100%.
I respect him. I'm not talented enough. I'm not talented enough to ride with Max Wrist. I'm not risky enough to ride with Max Wrist, and I don't want views enough to ride with Max Wrist. The guy is balls to the wall to him. Stuff that he does, because I would never ride like that. But that's his personality. Go for it, man.
Is it though? Is it though?
Hey, c'est la vie, man. Do what you want to do with your life, but keep it the hell away from me. Like,
so just to kind of reference here, the clip that I'm referring to, I mean, I think this is most current.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm going to go into it, man. It is what it is, man. Welcome to FreeStyle Sunday, everyone, guys. Hit that thumbs up if you tuned in. We're diving to Max Wrist while we're here. Why not? We're in the building.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Why
He's
not?
probably tired of hearing about this. Of all the clips.
Yo, he wheelied. I guess he was doing one of his classic pass-up wheelie, and he's passing a girl riding 2-up with a guy, and smashes into one of them on the side and completely obliterated the 2-up group and him. Everybody washed out. The girl had no gear on. You could see her whole chest is sliding. I'm like cringing so hard. I'm like, God damn. And at this point, I was going through the comments. I always go through the comments because I always like to get people's thoughts on, like, what's their take? Who do they think is at fault? Who, you know, because the internet tend to kind of side with who's the most popular kind of thing. I always like to hear or at least see it. And it was, the consensus was pretty clear, like, hey, man, if you have a death wish, ride with this guy kind of thing. It's like...
Yeah, no, I've heard of people riding with him, and, and he'll run you close to the edge, if not off, because he has this Insta 360 rolling.
Yeah, man. YouTube is a beast, and I think what happened is when you start doing it and you get popular for certain things, and this is one of my biggest struggle in terms of my channel. I'm very prideful in what I do and the way I do it. You know, we have a conversation, respectful with everyone, and just really exchanging information, just getting to know one another and stuff like that. And I take a lot of pride in not following people or following trends. I want my body of work to be known for what it is and be respected for what it is. And thankfully, a lot of companies tend to respect that. That's helped me a lot to keep me in the game. If I was just looking for clout, it'd be very hard because I tend to not step out of character for clout, which is a good and bad thing because I would have been way further along if I were to play the game.
It wouldn't be hard.
It wouldn't be hard to smash mirrors, yell at people, you know, be ignorant and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it's just, I can't put my dignity on the side, brother. So
me either.
So, you know, I'm taking the slow and steady route. You know what I mean? So it's tough to see that. And I think he's at a point where he's done the wheelie pass, the 360, recording things in a very exaggerated manner, which is cool. It is really dope. And at some point, you've reached a max area, right? Pun intended, max risk, or max area. You have to keep on excelling, right? Those 16-year-olds are going to get tired of seeing you do the slow pass wheelie. What's next? You have to outdo yourself. You bring people on, and you're doing it with people, getting people engaging into it. And the funny thing is, are you getting the conversion that you need out of that? And how far do you push? Because remember, those 15 to 18-year-olds, they'll never get satisfied. It'll never be enough. Either you're going to kill yourself, or you're going to kill someone, or both. And what's the deal? And it's going to leave a very bad taste in a very niche market that we're all trying to thrive in. Because when companies see stuff like this, they're like, I don't know about this moto vlogging business or this WhyNotRide Zack guy. Maybe he's a max wrist. Yeah. He's very risky. So companies are very...
You're right. It's not worth it. Yeah. I don't use profanity. You know how easy? It'd be so easy. It'd be so easy. It'd be so easy. Just to get views. It's not hard. But I'm not willing to defame my integrity. But so max risk is if someone had to, the general population, give us 5 characteristics of a crotch rocket rider, right? He is the upper echelon of those top 5. The craziest, the riskiest, the least regard to his life, right? These other things, and that is why he's popular, because people are living vicariously through his idiocy. Because it's almost unbelievable the things that he does. You're like, how's this guy alive? How's he not in jail? Which I don't know how he.
Well, you did say no face, no case.
No face, no case.
It's a tough one, man. I mean, my thing is with him, everything that he does, it's fine. It doesn't really bother me. I think where it really kind of impacts things, because my approach is really the business aspect of most of this, and I think it really scare potentially big clientele to get in bed with a guy like myself or with you. Because the shit rises to the very top because it's the most popular. It's the people that are getting a lot of clicks and stuff. So they're very easily seen when like Motivation's looking, or when AGV's checking, or Dainese looking. When you search, BMW rider, he's gonna pop up with the algorithm. Yeah. You're gonna be like, holy shit, maybe we shouldn't be doing business with these people. They're a bunch of psychos.
Yeah. I don't know anything about his brand deals. I don't know how he buys bikes. I mean, he has so many subscribers. I'm sure he makes a killing with his views. I mean, oh my god.
Yeah, I think so. He definitely
even the wheelie video, right? How many views? He posted it 3 times. Yours good PR, is what they say, right?
I don't think he has brand deals. I think it's really coming straight up from views and algorithm. YouTube, and that's the thing. You have to keep on pushing that limit, that boundary so hard. And that's what's hard with YouTube, right? Here's another good gem, right? You're working on YouTube, you're grinding. Holiday comes around, your money's like on point. You start heading February, March, your money's not the same. Each quarter is going to be very different in terms of business, right? So now you're pushing even harder, trying to push the fuse even harder because you want to have more CPM, right? So that's one of the things you got to keep in mind. I think he's doing a lot of that stuff, and he has to keep on going further and further and further and further and further.
Chasing the high in an analogy.
Well, his business is already out. Just to kind of talk about this, he used to be in the service. This is not news. It's not me like talking in person. I don't like to talk about people's personal stuff, but it's already out there. He was in the service, which I don't think he's in it anymore because of he rolled the dice on his career. And now he's just doing this. So the thing is, how much you're going to keep rolling the dice. You know what I mean? The whole point of life is really knowing when to cash out, right? You can't be in the casino like, yeah, man, I'm up. I'm just going to keep going.
That's the trick. That's the trick, isn't it? Knowing when to cash out.
Know when to cash out. So, that he's a very interesting character. And to me, whenever you have stuff, I mean, it's not just him. There's a lot of other content creators. I'm referencing YouTube because Instagram is very different.
Sure.
And that's my home is YouTube, so I could kind of somewhat reference that. There's a lot of YouTubers that falls into this category. It's either vulgarity or a lot of profanity or a lot of punching mirrors and stuff. These things kind of hurt overall marketing for everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm competing against girls with OnlyFans. It's really hard.
I love how you transitioned to that. I just set that up. I threw that pitch and you just ran into it. So I was just gonna say, since you're on Instagram, let's go, baby. FreeStyle Sunday, man, where we do it right. I love this. This is great. So this is my space where I'm competing in terms of the max risk.
Cancel, but it's all right.
Nah. We don't do cancellation over here.
I don't care anyway. This is my job.
So on YouTube space, I'm competing with the profane or the ultra crazy. On your side of the spectrum, it's You're competing with the twerkers, the dancers. So talk us through that. And that's one of the things that's completely pushed me off from Instagram. And I was just like, how do you compete when a girl just like, yo, look at those cheeks? You're like, listen, man, there's no bite. I'm gonna buy a Superleggera. I'm still not gonna get enough views or love with a girl that's 18 clapping cheeks. So
100%. So when I got my first 100,000 followers, I posted on my story and I said, I got 100,000 followers without ass and tits. That's what I said. Even the girls thought it was funny because it's almost like a running joke. So let's talk about that. I have seen it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. A girl gets a bike. She gets her first 10,000 followers. Bike, content, riding, pictures. No, slip a little ass shot in there. And guess what?
100,000 instantly.
Look at that. 100,000 views, 25,000 likes. And they're like, oh, well, if I just do this, or I just show that, it's going to be easier, just like the profanity, just like the vulgar sex sells. Yeah. So all these girls will start off normal. I've seen it so many times. And there is a girl recently, I'm not going to say, and I knew she's going to do it. And I said, don't turn into one of those girls. And she did.
Yo.
I knew she would, because it's the fastest route to success. At what cost?
Yo, I'm going to give a special shout out, though. And I have to hold them in high regards because I think they're mad classy ladies. And they don't do that. And they're dope. They grind. They're very smart, very intelligent, and very beautiful as well. Both Dragoness Moto. She's on the BMW S1000RR. Rev Mira. She's also on the BMW S1000RR. Very classy ladies.
I'll add one to the list.
Huh?
I'll add one to the list.
Please, sir.
Do you know Aya? Aya
No.
Lowat out in Salt Lake City?
Aya. So I'm gonna look into. I think Rev Mira mentioned her. I think she might have mentioned her, but super classy ladies. They do not do that stuff. They're dope with it. They're great writers. They're on social media, keeping it real cool and classy, and they're still growing really quickly. And I think we need to highlight that stuff a lot because just so people are aware of what we. I'm not saying that there's no space for clapping those cheeks because your boys do enjoy that, but we don't wife them though.
I'll click on it. I enjoy it. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
But you took the shortcut, and I no disrespect, no judgment. You do you. Don't care. Doesn't affect me. I'm still gonna beat you in the end, regardless. Which debatably I already am. I did it without ass and tits. I win. I still have my soul. Maybe you do too. I don't know what your conviction looks like.
Oh my God, this is good tonight.
But the girls who do it, build their channel without sexualizing themselves, is the hardest path, especially because they're a woman.
Yes.
And if you're not doing that, you can only do it through skill and clout. The only way to do it is through skill and clout and reputation.
Yes, sir.
And if you do that, mad respect.
And I've had both Rev Mira on, and I've had Dragoness Moto on. They're intelligent, educated, and classy, and they ride well, and they have a clear vision of what they want and how they're gonna do it. And I think that stuff is really, really cool. And I have to tip my hat off to them because I think that stuff do not get highlighted, and we don't. It's not the stuff that goes in front and to the top of the pile, just like how we're talking some of the crazy. So I think that's why we don't have a lot of that. So shout out to you guys if you are tuning in and if you're watching this, really dope. And it was a pleasure talking to you guys, and stay classy. Oh man.
Absolutely.
So let's see here. What is your next move for the industry, man? I think you're on the upswing for everything. Do you ever foresee yourself? You got a Grom, man?
Yeah, I'm giving it away. That's the next move. I just recently took on an investor. And
you know what? Let's before you even do that, I'm gonna give you the entire screen. Can you do a walk around of your space and show all your bikes? Let me Let me fill you guys in, man. Yo, tonight we getting lit, man. Really, really dope conversation with Zack from WhyNotRide. There we go. The dude is blowing up on Instagram, has an amazing following, amazing personality, got the bikes. Hide your mom, hide your cousin, hide your sisters. He will bang them out if you. Yo,
I mean,
behave.
Of my 11 female followers, them are middle-aged single women.
Oh my God, yo, behave, man. Come on, stay classy.
If you guys saw the middle-aged women in my DMs, it would blow your mind.
Yo, behave,
The whole
man.
whole show on that.
Oh,
This is my 2022. This is my show bike. This is my 2013 ZX6 track bike. And then we got the beat 'em up bike, which is a 2008 CBR 600 RR. I have a ZX10 coming in next month, 2023, fresh off the showroom floor. It's black and gold. And I got the Grom. I'm not going to give away super bikes, but what I am going to do is I'm going to give away fun bikes.
Yo,
Everybody wants
you
to
better step off that. You better stop playing. I just dropped my videos where I did my Patreon setup. I said I'm going to be giving away mini bikes and Groms. You better not play, boy. I'm trying to.
I just give away a super bike because expensive.
Yep.
Needs that, and it takes a very special type of person to be able to ride that bike with respect. And I don't. And a Grom is more useful. It's more practical. It's more useful. And people with super bikes still want a Grom. If you have a V4R, you still want a Grom. If you have an S1000, you still want a Grom. I'm going to give away little track bikes, little 300s, an MT-03, Groms, because they're just super fun bikes to have. But that's the freaking vibe. But yeah, dude, mini bikes and all that. So that's what's next for me. Stepping up my YouTube gang, and I'm gonna start giving away a bunch of really fun bikes. But yeah, here's my helmets. KYT NZ Race. This is a carbon fiber. And then I wear Alpine Stars. I got the Cardo on all of them. This is my racing helmet. No Cardo. Badass. And then I got my tracksuit, Alpine Stars, of course. This is the Phantom. And then I got my all this stuff. And I got all my Cardo units. But yeah, this is the garage. Just to keep me in check.
I saw that. Yo,
I saw that.
You're wild right now. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
but
man.
and then I got all my tools. You know the vibes on this. If you actually want to work on your own bikes, one of the most important things is you need to have all the tools. If you try to shortcut it, that is how you make mistakes, and that's how you scare yourself. So
I agree.
that's the vibe. So.
Oh man, so where do you see this going, man? Where do you want to take this? Do you want to leave corporate world and make this a full-time thing, or I like the side hustle, and I like to kind of keep both wheels rolling, in my personal opinion.
You are 100% correct, and let me tell you why. And we had a conversation about this earlier when we were talking on the phone. And everybody asked me, do you want to do social media full-time? No. And here's why. The quality of my life, if it depended on the success of my posts, if it depended on how much people like me, the interaction, if the things that I wanted to do in life depended on me being successful on social media, then it wouldn't be fun for me anymore. It would be really stressful. Motorcycling and creating content is my catharsis. It's my release of emotion. It is my escape. And if I tried to make my catharsis an escape and passion, if I tried to take that and also combine it with also giving me the quality of life that I want, then I feel like it would completely take away from that emotional release. So I keep those things separate. Nobody knows anything about my professional career. Nobody knows anything about my personal life. Nobody knows anything about any girls that I talk to. Like nothing like that. Completely separate because I did that on purpose. I want that separation, and I know you know the vibes.
Mm-hmm. So if I was a betting guy, similar thing. Nobody in the corporate world know that I do YouTube. I
Yeah.
separate them completely. Like I know a lot of people are like,
Yeah.
oh, you're on social media. I'm like, nah, I don't do social media in my business life, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar approach.
Yeah. Nobody knows my last name. It's like, actually, they might now. It's on here. But even if they did, like, it's just, I tried to, it's like, you don't call your teacher by their first name, right? It's Mr. Danish or, you know, whoever, Mrs. Helsel, you know, whatever your teacher's name would be. I want to keep that line. I want people to see me as just the motorcycle guy. And I think that's how all these female accounts get diluted, is because motorcycle, 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 bikini pic. I'm like, what? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, pick something and stick to it. If it's motorcycles, it's motorcycles. I posted a snowboarding video.
Yeah, I saw that one too. That was pretty cool.
It was cool. And I got paid to do that with GoPro and Insta360, right? But it went nowhere. So it's like Instagram is telling me, like, you're a motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
Stick to motorcycles, buddy. And the next post I did right after that was motorcycles went up. They like rewarded me, like, hey, there you go, Zach. That's what we want you doing. It's dude, I could go on a tangent about what I learned about the algorithm, dude.
Yeah, you hit me up, man. We got to do something for sure.
Yeah, we need to collab. I love collabing.
I don't know what do I know, man. I don't know jack shit, dude.
It's a combination, man. It's a give and a take. You know what we can do?
Yeah.
Line it up. We're gonna do a collab. I'm gonna talk about why I love Japanese bikes, and you can talk about why you love European bikes.
There you go. I set up those home runs, and you just knock them right out, man. I like that.
Yeah, I try.
Oh man, so it's one of the things you're big with on Instagram as well. Meeting with people, just partnering with a lot of people. What's your approach on doing that? We see this very often. Even here, I have personal experience where even some of the people that are interested in seeing you, for example, like, oh, we want to see Zack on. You want to bring him on, and partnered with you. It was pretty much a seamless thing. But in a lot of cases. To be honest, not to be biased, in a lot of the cases when it is a girl you're reaching out to, it's pulling teeth, man. It's almost like a lot of them think that you want to smash or some shit like that, or you're interested. No, it's nothing like that. And first off, I would never mix business with pleasure. Just for you thirsty boys out here, do not do that.
Not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Never do it. In a lot of cases, some people are pretty professional. It's fine. But most cases, when you reach out to people, either they feel like they're way too big or bigger than the planet, or they feel like you want to smash or something like that. That's why you're reaching out. Or you're some kind of weird fan or something like that. It's more like having a conversation. Because, you know, as I mentioned to you a little bit earlier, it's great seeing some of your clips and seeing how your personality shine through. But here, people get to really understand who you are. You don't not completely professionally, but they really have a better perspective on the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So how is it for you reaching out to people? Is it like a seamless thing, or do you encounter any pushback, or is it easy to kind of collab with people, or do you tend to find people in the same tier as you? Because you don't seem to be like too good for anyone that's 4,000, 2,000. 100 or 100,000. You're in the spectrum. You're pretty much like, hey man, let's go. Let's put in some work and connect the dots. So at least that's what I read. But yeah, you tell me.
Yeah, so that's a double-edged sword. In the motorcycle community, I don't know how people talk about me behind my back, but to my face and on my platform, I receive so much love and cooperation and fulfillment and joy that these people are telling me that, like, really big accounts, my channel because I'm non-threat. I'm not threatening anyone's manhood. I'm not threatening their skills because I am so much different than their platform. I'm not trying to do better wheelies than you, right? I'm not trying to ride faster than you. I'm not trying to drag my knee harder than you. I'm not trying to have nicer tits than you. Like, I have a very non-threatening platform. And because of that, it is seamless for me to reach out to anyone. You name an influencer, and if I reach out to them, they will accept me with open arms because I am not threatening their platform. And and we live in a man's niche community of motorcycles. Shout out to all the females, but it's dominated by men. And I don't threaten guys' manhoods because I genuinely don't give a shit. And they know that. And I'm just here to have a good time. And I am accepted with open arms in this community. So bridging that gap and collabing with people, it's really, really fun. And I enjoy it because I haven't had any pushback. Like, it's actually surprising. But again, I don't know how people talk about me behind my back, but to my face, they're really nice. So
I think, actually, I wouldn't say I think. This is actually what tend to happen. I think a lot of people, when they jump onto social media and they're doing well there, that's their only out.
mm-hmm.
In some cases, a lot of people already doing well outside of social media, and this is like a side hustle or something that's an extra. So when the bulk, right, by mass, right, most people are pretty much more in the normal side of things. So to them, this is it. This is the pinnacle of the clout or the dollar sign that they're gonna get. After that, they have to go back to the regular rigmarole like job or something like that. So it's very dangerous to them. It's like, oh man, if Mike comes in or Zack comes in and you already got that going and then you want this too, it's kind of hard. And also, I think this is why you're able to land better deals. And I feel like I could land better deals as well because, like I said, I always tell companies, they always hit me with the, oh, we're going to send you this exhaust. The exhaust is $4,000. I'm like, well, do you want my card so you can bring that exhaust? Because I could buy it. Now, let's talk about how you're going to pay me for it. It's still a service that's going to be here permanently forever. And I think when you're talking with somebody either in college or, you know, that works, not to knock anyone, or just if you're working just regular and, you know, you have to pay your bills, to them, it's like, yo, $400, man. Oh my God, $400. And then you get that. That's it. You're done. You're screwed. It's super dangerous, and it's one of those things I think companies take a lot of advantage of. A lot of people they don't know, and I think if you're struggling already, $400 is gonna sound good to you, or something like that, or something small is gonna sound very good. If you're doing good already, and I always like to have my channel a certain way. I always send my link, so take a look at my channel, see where it's at. You can see where I'm at, so don't insult me to some degree.
Yeah, no, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there. And I'm not saying I'm some super accomplished guy. I've played Division I baseball at UCF. I have 2 degrees and a master's degree. This is not the only place that I've had success. So my personality does not hinge on the success of my platform. And that is evident in the way that people feel on my page. This does not make or break for me. I do it because I love to. I do it because I love to do it. Right? It doesn't matter that much. I love to do it. I'm going to try and work really hard, but I'm not threatened by you because I have a mountain of success behind me that you've never even seen. And that is exactly what you just said. This isn't the only thing I do. You know. Oh.
That's the deal, man. By the way, we're coming in on the 2-hour mark, by the way. Good conversation is always very easy, man. So I'm going to give you the floor, let people know where they could find you. That way we don't let this run down to the ground. The door's always open, man. You want to come on, you know how to reach me anyway. You want to talk, you want to promote some new NBT. Yo, you got to plug me into that NBT, man. I need one of their jeans, dude.
I'll get you 6. You want every color? Like, it's not a problem. If you want to wear NBT, buddy, I'll get you every color.
Get NBT in the building. Let them know. Or even just, you know what? We can have him on and have a conversation because I'm doing wheelies.
He would love it.
I want to protect that ass, you know. So. But we got
100%.
stuff to do, man. We can always swap things out. Anyway, again, one hand washes the other, boys. Another lesson here. So he's coming in hot with some good stuff. I got some good connects. So we can always kind of make that work. Also, see how things work, guys. Small industry, good people, smart people, and you can make things happen, dude. So I'm gonna give you the floor, let people know where they can find you and stuff. And the door's always open, man. I'd love to have you back on. There's a ton more clips I didn't even get to roll because the conversation was so dope, in my personal opinion. So, it's all you, man. Let them know where they can find you.
Absolutely. Guys and girls, before you even look for me, make sure you actually subscribe to ClutchFirst. If you're here and you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know why you haven't.
Damn,
I'm
son.
already in here. You already know the vibes. I know the vibes. I know it. So before, I'll give you 3 seconds. Smash that subscribe button. Okay, now that you subscribe, thank you.
Real
Why
legend.
not? Yeah, why not _ride? I'm on YouTube too, but not yet. I'm trying. Instagram and TikTok. TikTok is they're very similar. I use different sounds. WhyNot_ride. Riding tips, educational stuff, really just entertainment and education. That's what I do. It's what I love to do. I would love for you guys to swing by. Again, this is a make or break for me. I would love for you to check out my platform. If you do enjoy what you see, by all means, give me a follow. I love connecting with my audience. I respond to as many DMs as I can. We didn't get to this, but the people who I do respond to, I read them all, but I don't respond to them all. It all depends on how you approach me. If you come at me needing something, you don't introduce yourself, you don't say hi, you don't say that you like my channel, you just come in firing questions off me, and you have the audacity knowing that I have a subscription service, but you just want to use me for my time. Approach me the right way if you actually want to have a conversation with me. And if you actually want details, then you can subscribe to my Instagram and we can have all the conversations in the world. But like all things in this world, everybody's time is incredibly valuable. Mike's time is valuable. My time is valuable. Your time is valuable, and you are here. If you want to connect with people, approach them the right way, be successful, and be respectful. So that's where I'm at. Why not _ride? Mike, it's been an absolute pleasure. ClutchFirst is an absolute banger. Hope I can come back sometime.
Dude, you are always welcome. By the way, guys, I will be going to the 3-gun salutes. You guys always love the startups. If you guys are a big fan of those bike startups in the garage, I will be going back to that. So just let me know. Comment in the comment section. Join the next stream next Sunday. Very excited for the next person that's going to be up. By the way, thank you everyone for tuning in. You want to support the channel, motivationusa.com. Links is in the description. Always shop with them. That's one way you can give back. We do have a Patreon if you want to join on that too. That's pretty dope. You get some goodies. And I'll catch you guys next Sunday, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I thought this was one of the dopest conversations I've had. Tons of really cool gems if you want to get into business. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Oh, man, Zach, that was crazy.